And for an expert's take, I'm joined now by Professor Robert Kelly, Associate Professor at the Department of Political Science and Diplomacy at the Busan National University. Now, thank you very much, Professor, for joining us. What do you make of the timing and the motive behind today's test?
I have sort of two theories about the timing. It's not really clear. The first is that South Korean parliamentary elections are coming up in April. North Korea has a history of trying to influence South Korean elections, presidential and otherwise. And so this may be an effort to try to bully the South Korean population. It is worth saying, though, that this almost never works. The idea is that the North Korean sort of argument is that, we have this sort of power and you should vote for the left or something like that. And actually what usually happens is this encourages South Koreans to vote for conservatives. So usually these sort of hijinks backfire. The other sort of possibility for timing is that there's really not a great deal going on right now in North Korea's relationships with China and South Korea. So doing a test right now doesn't really disrupt anything, right? I mean, if things are going better with China, they're not. They're sort of frozen. But if they're going better with China, this would be seen as a disruption. But as long as things are sort of frozen with both Seoul and Beijing, why not pop this off? Why not get this out of the way?
And Pyongyang claims that this is a hydrogen bomb test. And, of course, international community is scrambling to verify the accuracy of this claim. But how likely is that North Korea actually has the capability to conduct such a test?
Yeah, put me in this camp of the skeptics that your reporter, Mr. Kim, described. I actually also am not really, I'm actually fairly skeptical that the North Koreans have the ability to do this. It is a major step up in terms of technology required to develop a weapon like this. The weapon is substantially more powerful than the atomic bomb that we all think that North Korea already has. An atomic bomb was used against Japan in World War II, but a hydrogen bomb is an order of magnitude more powerful in terms of the yield, in terms of the amount of energy released. We haven't actually seen what that will do to civilians. It's never been used in combat, and it also requires a great deal more technology. And I'm not really sure. A lot of people just don't believe that North Koreans have that. A lot of people think that this thing, as your reporter suggested, a lot of people think that maybe the North Koreans added some kind of hydrogen fuel to it or sort of boosted it in some way. But the footprint, the actual explosion itself, looks an awful lot like what happened in 2013. I think right now we're all just waiting for some kind of definitive statement from the South Korean or the American government.
I see. And we're seeing some strong reaction from South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. We're still waiting for a reaction from China. What kind of response do we expect from North Korea's ally?
I think the Chinese will do what they usually do in situations like this, which is sort of grit their teeth and say, we shouldn't interfere in North Korea's internal affairs. I think China's really sort of losing control of sort of the debate of North Korea. I don't really think the Chinese know quite how to rein in or control North Korea that much. A lot of Western analysts think that China has a great deal of influence over North Korea because there's so much investment there. And I think that's true. But it's not really clear that influence, that the sort of Chinese weight in North Korea's economy has actually translated very well into pushing North Korean policy in one way or another. North Korea has a history of sort of running against Chinese policy preferences.
All right, Professor Kelly, thank you very much for your insight there. That was Professor Robert Kelly speaking to us from South Korea.